Welcome to the Chelsea Fans Corner, and this is brought to you by Vertical Football. Yeah, and this is a show where we talk all things Chelsea. Yeah, and in this one, we just want to talk about the breaking news at the club. Chelsea has decided to part ways with Enzo Maresca. Yeah, he has spent a season and a season and a half at the club. And during his time at the club, he helped us to get back into Champions League, went on to win the Conference League, took us into the Club World Cup, and also won the Club World Cup in a very beautiful fashion, beating PSG 3-0. And I think he has tactically revolutionized. Oh, sorry about that. He has tactically improved Chelsea. Yeah, I would say he has tactically improved Chelsea. He's a good manager in my viewpoint, in my book. I think I like the manager so much. I enjoy the way he plays. I enjoy his tactical game. I enjoy the fact that he's tactically flexible. When things happen, he knows how to go about, let's change this, let's change that. Sometimes he wants to play possession game. Sometimes you see him play transition. Sometimes you see him go full force into the whole thing and be very direct. So I think I've seen a whole lot with Enzo Maresca. With Enzo Maresca, when I sit at the back of my screen, I'm just open to see what he has to offer this time around, because he is just a different breed of coach. And I see in 10 years, 15 years, is that coach that we will find at the top, being one of the best in the game. And the only time will tell. Let's just see how he plays out. So I admire him a lot. So let's talk about this issue in the sense that what are the things that could have joined together to come about this decision? What are the things that the club saw? What are the things that Enzo Maresca has seen that I felt like, the best thing for us to do is to just part ways? Yeah, and that would be the best thing for the club. So let's jump right into it and let's discuss it. I think first thing I feel like for the club would be the red flag. What would have been the red flag for the club was Enzo Maresca discussing with Man City. Yeah, I felt like that was not the best thing to do. That was not the best thing to do, because you have a commitment here at Chelsea. Why in the world are you speaking to Man City? And I don't want to believe we would say, he's speaking to Man City because they handed in a transfer or they are giving him a green light that the job, when available, you are the best candidate for us. That is not enough for you to have two conversations, because according to the report from David Oyston, he spoke to them. He told Chelsea that he spoke to them in late October and in mid-December. So the discussion would have been something around, what's your club projects like? Is Pep Guardiola actually leaving this club? If I eventually come to this club, how do you plan to help me to get starting and get running? What are the resources available? What are your expectations? Like, the discussion would be very deep, I believe. And that is something close to like, betrayal is too much of a big word, but Chelsea will feel disappointed because you are contracted to Chelsea. They are expecting your full commitment. They are expecting your loyalty. Speaking to Man City does not take away your loyalty. It does not take away your loyalty. But deep down, like, there is a soft part for you for there. You want it. If you don't want it, it is something you would have discarded. Like, I have a commitment here, and that's all that I have to say with you guys. Like, it's as simple, as straightforward as that. And Chelsea knowing about this, because they gave him the open book. In his contract, it's open that you can talk to other clubs. But when you are doing this, you have to let us know about it. So you will put them in a space of this. If this person is being open to talk about this, to talk about to talk about contracts with Man City, definitely, if they bring something that is better than us, is definitely going to leave. That is a red flag for them. That's definitely a red flag for them. So I believe Enzo Maresca did not handle that part very well. I believe he didn't handle that part very well. Those kind of things should have just been going on. Let them just keep going on underneath and never bring it to the face of them, because it will put a doubting thought in their mind. It will put a doubting thought in their mind, and I believe it's just going to cause friction. And this is the end. This is the end. So that part, him speaking to Manchester City, I believe, was a red flag for the Chelsea board. And another thing was the press conference. I felt like the press conference is something that created a whole lot of friction at the club. Yeah. He created a whole lot of friction at the club. Him speaking about having his worst 48 hours at the club. I did an analysis on that and I spoke about, I felt like everything I could denote was him speaking to the fans, but it turned out, as things has turned out now, it's just obvious that it's not about the fans. It has to do with internal issues, and I feel like that talk, they felt it. They felt it. They would have, why is he throwing jabs? Why is he speaking things like this? These are emotional talks, and it just turned out the way it turned out, and even the decision to not show up at the press conference, the post-match conference against, after the Bournemouth match, though Willie Caballero came out to say it's due to illness, that he was not feeling too well. But internal source also said that no, that might just be an excuse and not be the actual truth. So that there was tension, there was friction around the club at that point in time. Maybe he felt that if he come and speak, it was not going to be a good talk from him. So I feel like those are some of the things, and let's just keep going. We'll just keep unraveling the whole thing that could have caused this thing. And one of the things that I see again, and I'm going to put this on the Chelsea's management. I've spoken some about the Enzo Maresca one. I feel like I put this on the Chelsea management, is them wanting to take autonomy. Yeah. Autonomy is not necessarily a bad thing. It puts you in a space of control. You know how things are going in every part of the organization. But in football, I don't think it necessarily work good. It's not the best way to go about it. The coach or the manager needs to have a sense of control also. Yeah, because we had news, we had a whole lot of things that the Chelsea management do, and things like going into the dressing room. It's normal for you to go into the dressing room, but it's not something that we need to see on a daily basis, because the coach should be the master in the dressing room. And you who are the board, when you are coming into the dressing room, you will feel threatened. It's something that you will not be comfortable with. And I just feel like they were not that logical about it. If you sense that this man is not comfortable with you always coming into the dressing room, you need to allow him stay in his own position. You need to allow him have that part. You are still his boss. Because you cannot go into the dressing room all the time does not mean he's now your boss. He is the boss of his dressing room. He should be the boss in that space. You going there is like letting him know that you are in control of that space also. So I feel like they wanting to go into every details of everything. When you micromanage, you tend to create disaster. Yeah, you tend to like create disaster. You don't do such. You don't do such. And there are a whole lot of things that go on with this autonomy of a thing. And like the injury policy thing that was spoken about by Kavisoduko of Sky Sports, yeah, where he was saying and I don't know how true that is, where he was saying the board have the higher power to determine when the player comes back from injury. Where in the world does that happen? The manager should be in charge. If you are doing that, then what is the manager's control? What is he in charge of? And I have seen a whole lot of people come out and stand on one side. Oh, Enzo Maresca has to go. And some other people, oh, the board at this, that. There are no saints in this situation. The board has theirs, and the Enzo Maresca himself also has his own. And we have spoken about his own, him discussing with, what's it called? Manchester City. Him having those press conference moments. Him saying things that I felt like he should have kept to himself. Though he has the right to say things, that's how you know what is in his mind. But there are some things that you don't go out to say. Yeah, so that is it about the autonomy of a thing. And also, secondly, or another thing from the board's perspective that I felt like would have caused Enzo Maresca to agree to parting ways with Chelsea was the transfer policy. Yeah, as much as we understand that we want to keep a policy, we want to stay strong on what we believe in. Also, you have to consider the other people. You have to consider the manager. You go, like, look at the Chelsea transfer policy. There are faulty things about it. It's too stiff. There needs to be some level of flexibility to it. And I've spoken about this thing before. Like, You are getting young players. You are getting boys in the 20s, 90s, all of these ages. But you know that this manager has to work with this thing. They are inexperienced. You have some levels of inconsistency. There are days when the going gets tough. These boys cannot psych up their own self because their experience bank is still limited. The credit in it is not enough. You need to put flexibility to it. So when this manager comes up and is expecting or asking or requesting for you to do some stuffs, you just need to understand where he's coming from and do for him what he wants. The transfer policy, we have seen it. We have seen these things. Look at last season. This same coach worked with a forward line of Noni Madueke, worked with the forward line of Nicholas Jackson and Jadon Sancho. Then you are coming into this season, you're looking at what we have again. Now we have Jamie Gittins. Now we have Estevao. Now we have Garnacho. He has to start. We have Pedro Neto. We have Lemam Delap. He has to start all again with his attacking line. You need to put him in a good space. All they are thinking about is just their own transfer policy. But the question is, are you thinking about how it is affecting the coach himself? And you expect him to be happy with the job. He's trying his best. He's doing all that he can do. I praise him so much because you look at the situation that he is in. Look at Levi Colwill going on injury. And he's requesting for you to give him a centre back. Give me something. And then reports we got is, the Chelsea board and the Chelsea management is happy with the squad that they have. And they're expecting that we work with that. He had to come into the press conference and say, we know that we need option, but we will check the option from what we have internally. Who do you have internally? You're putting the coach in a tight space because of your transfer policy. And the other side that is not relating to Enzo Maresca is this transfer policy it limits the kind of player that can come to the club. You look at the caliber of players that can come. You just know that, you want to go for Osimhen. He cannot come because you will not pay him this amount of money because you say this particular age is what you don't want to get. He will not come. So all we are living with is a Chelsea of the name, Chelsea. But the model is something you don't want to talk about because you know what it looks like. You know. So I think the transfer policy is some of the things that this manager would have seen and like, no, I cannot work with this. Looking at autonomy in the club, looking at who has control, how much power do I have? He looks at what he has on ground and is like, no, I can't work with this. Yeah, and another thing is the over-involvement. They are getting too much. I was looking at something and there was a report by, I think it was Ben Jacobs, speaking about how the board and the management wants to have a hand in the players who get in how rotation is being done in the club. Get your affairs off the pitch and allow the manager take care of what goes on the pitch. These things are straightforward. These things are basic. I don't think it's rocket science. Get the things right. Get the profile. You have gotten the profile for the manager. Why are you still wanting to have hand in how the manager uses the player? You are putting him in a space where he feels like a puppet. I'm not in charge. They are in charge. I'm just supposed to do what they want me to do. Nobody works in that kind of situation and thrives. You will shrink in fear because when I try this out, they will always have a problem with it because they feel like they are in charge with what goes on the pitch. You are a management. That's why you are not a coach. That's why you are a management. You are supposed to take care of what goes on off the pitch and allow the manager and do what goes on the pitch. I feel like everybody, every single person, Maresca himself and the board, they have their own part in how this thing turned out. So I feel like it's just on two sides. Everybody takes a share of the cake. But in my opinion, the board takes the larger part of the cake. They take the larger share of the cake. Yeah, they take the larger share of the cake. Because this guy, I bet you, he's good. He's good. Maresca is good. He's good. Tactically, he's sound. I was listening to he's an obsessed coach. And when you look at obsessed coach, you see what they turn out to be. You see how good they are. You see what they can become over time. He's obsessed with every single details. So when you are coming in and you are poking in what he's doing, it just feels like I'm not in charge. I don't have control over these things. That's why you go to club like Man City, they are building a squad for Guardiola. You go to clubs like PSG, Enrique is building his own squad. But you come to Chelsea, what you see is a Blue Coat squad, not a Maresca squad. And you want him to be happy. And you want him to still continue. And you want him to deliver on a consistent basis. He has his own part. You will not put all the whole thing on the club. But he has his own part. He has his own part. But you have to allow him do things. Then you judge him on what he has done. Not him doing things and you are putting his hand and you are still judging him for the same thing. It makes no sense. So I'm just going to stop there. And the question now is, what next? What's next? Because we're in a very delicate situation. We are halfway in the league. We are 5th in the league. We are still in Champions League. We are still in the FA Cup. We are still in the Carabao Cup. On the trajectory of our objective, we are in line. In the league, we might be falling short of winning the league, but top 4, we are in line. Then what's next? Who is coming in? What's it going to be like? And who is coming in has to be something similar to what Enzo Maresca is doing because of the profiles of player that you got. Because of the psyche that they have built already. It's 1 year and a half with these players, though there are some new ones, but it's 1 year and a half with these players. You just know, bro, we need to get things straight. We need to get all of these things straight. And I'm just so, I'm not happy because I'm still thinking about the young players also. Looking at the young players, this is like the 6th manager in the period of Blue Coat takeover. And you have players that have been available. Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo, Cucurella is not young anymore. You have these guys, like you have all of these guys, Reece James, all of these people. You are just changing. They are building their skill sets from different people. Though it is good in some way, they have experience to pick from different places. But they might just turn out to be generalists and not be an expert in one way because they are not grounded in one. They just shift from this manager to that one, then the next one, then the next. How sure are we that when the next one comes, you will not take him off? Because we saw it with what's it called? With Pochettino, he played 1 season and then all of a sudden, he does not like the way things work. You don't like the way he works, he's gone. Maresca, 1 season and a half. You don't like the way things work with him. He does not like the way you work. Then he's gone. And then we are going for the 3rd one. How sure are we that it's not going to be the same rinse and repeat? So I feel like something needs to be done. Most especially with the transfer policy and with the autonomy thing. With the transfer policy, there needs to be flexibility. With the autonomy, we need to assign control to people who you know can take charge. Enzo Maresca is a guy that has shown that he can take charge. So guys, this is just my own viewpoint. These are what I think about this thing. And we will do our analysis. That's the job we have gotten. We'll do our analysis. Let's see which name is flying in the air. I think we have heard about the Strasbourg coach, Rosenior. Let's see how he plays. Let's see his philosophy. Let's see if it's something that they can go on to push. Let's see, do you want to change system? You want to go for somebody that is playing a 3 at the back? Let's just see let's see who they will bring up and we'll discuss about it. So guys, this is the Chelsea Fans Corner. Thank you guys for sticking with us. This is brought to you by Vertical Football. Till we see you some other time. Namaste.